Something which I like to talk a lot about is the issue of the power in each and every one of us, which often we underestimate. Or we choose not to tap into that power that we as human beings have to manage these different facets in our lives. And it's not just about managing our own. I think Patrick was talking about the leader, the manager, as somebody who first and foremost has to manage his or her mind. But I think it's also about managing our emotions, our values, our ideas of how we look after our physical well-being. I mean, you were mentioning that the physical well-being has to be in par with the mental well-being, and I would add with that also our spiritual, because of our values. But then obviously people in management and leadership positions have, I would say, multiple responsibilities. It's not just towards themselves, but they have a responsibility towards their colleagues and in creating environments, as Daniela from Richmond was mentioning, and you also, I think all of us are mentioning the environment, the space within which we work, and not only which we work, but also the home space. So I think parents are managers and leaders as well. So the role of the parent in terms of creating an environment at home. I know a couple of my colleagues who spoke before me mentioned school and education. I would actually take a step before that. Okay, parents are a tremendous force and have tremendous power in how, benevolent power, in how they actually shape the future of their child or children, or people they're looking after. In our society, I think grandparents are also still, up until this point, contributing tremendously to the well-being of their grandchildren and the life of their grandchildren. So I would say that these people in society, managers, leaders, parents, grandparents, community leaders, have tremendous power, benevolent power. And it is up to us, each individual, to decide how to use that benevolent power. And I think sometimes we prefer to get somebody else to take that responsibility for us. We prefer to have the politician, to have the manager, to have the leader, and we push people to take that responsibility. For those of you who studied psychology, I'm talking about the locus of control. Where is the locus of control? Is it in me, or do I want to give it to someone else because I abdicate the responsibility of using that power in me to manage myself and manage other people?
I wanted to Patrick. I think you said something that's really relevant, and maybe one thing that we can do, all of us as individuals and even within the organization, is when we talk about having a vision and having a stance and having a plan and having all these goals and that drive an organization, that drive where the organization wants to go, the place of work. But I think we need to recognize what clouds our vision. Not to sound negative, but we do need to recognize what is clouding our vision, what is making us not see our potential, and what is not helping us see the potential of the people around us, and recognizing when there are issues, when there are problems. One example that I would like to give of an organization that functions beautifully, not all of you will know this, but a lot of you may, most of you will actually, that functions beautifully, not taking into account the limitations or the differences or the different backgrounds or the different way of thinking, is a very interesting, you will remember this and you will observe it if you think about it. If any of you have ever watch Star Trek. Star Trek. A very, very cleverly thought of movie. Watch and see and learn how that captain runs his ship. It is a group of people who are all different, who all have special potential, who all have special things about them, who look different, sound different, and are always easy to understand. But if we observe and see how a captain manages to have the vision, to not allow the differences cloud what is the potential of everyone around him, that is a perfect example. I know it's just a film, but it's something you will remember, you will keep in mind, and it will allow you to understand what I mean and what you're talking about, all of us. Don't allow things to cloud the possibility of us recognizing the potential of teamwork and the potential of each and every individual.